Good morning, welcome to Clayton Art Club. If you just bear with me 2 seconds, I will just double check that the sound is coming through okay. Okay, let me just test the sound. Bear with me, my computer's being slow, so I can't check on the sound. If you can hear me in the comments okay, then maybe give me a thumbs up and I will not need to double check it here. Annoyingly, my computer's being a bit slow. So I'm live streaming on my phone, but I've got my computer next to me and it's been a bit slow. Hiya, Sarah. Can you hear me okay? Okay, here we go. Is it working? Let me just double check. Test, 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, okay, sound's coming through. Okay, that's great. Brilliant. Welcome, Sarah. And let's see if there's anyone else. Jojo is here. So if you have any requests on things you'd like me to draw, then please chuck them in the comments. So I run this Clayton Art Club live stream every week for free on a Monday at 10 a.m. and I'm sure some of you are off for half term if you're schoolgoers or if you're home editors. It's just like a normal week, I guess. If you'd like to, so what I do is I often draw 2 or 3 drawings in the hour that we have, and they're always what you've asked. So hopefully you can follow along. Oh, so we've got a request for Captain Jack Sparrow. Okay, oh, that'll be a fun one. So let me just bring up some reference so I can remind myself what he looks like. And I'm going to do a cartoon version, I think. Yeah, okay. So these are my basic tools, as well as alcohol markers. So I've got a pencil, a black pen, obviously a rubber, a white pen, and alcohol markers. So I won't be using the blue probably quite as much, but we're going to draw a nice Captain Jack, witty Jack. So these are what we drew last week. So we drew Captain Underpants and a cat from Firestarter, which I don't know anything about. So we're going to start off with Captain Jack. So we're going to start off with a head shape. So we're going to start off with an egg shape for a head. I will zoom in as well. Hopefully you can see. I've got the light coming from this direction. As you can see, the distance between my shadow. So hopefully when I put my left-handedness down, the shadow won't, like if I was drawing with my right hand, it would be quite hard to see what I'm drawing. So we're going to start off with a kind of vague stick man, and we're going to try and get that kind of that kind of Jack Sparrow kind of, I don't know what you'd call it, drunk, tipsy, spaced kind of, I don't know. So we want to draw some kind of hat maybe. We want to start off with the shoulders, so we're going to piece together that. And then his torso like that, so he's kind of leaning back a bit. We've got his arm coming down here. Slightly straighter arm, and I'll get more central as well. So I'm looking at some pictures online just to get some reference on what he might look like. His kind of knees to be coming up as if he's like got his foot on a barrel or something. I think his head's going to be a bit smaller than this. I've got my trusty rubber. I might just go get rid of the whole head. Kind of happy with how that body looks. A slightly smaller head, I think. We'll have his hair coming down. And then we'll have that bandana that he wears, the red one. Maybe he doesn't have his foot on a barrel. I think that's... something like this, I think. Have his red bandana, something like this. Something like this. A big belt buckle. Make him look piratey. Baggy clothes. And then we need a face, so we'll put a face there, bit of a nose, bit of a chin. Underclothes as well, because he wears that big kind of coat thing. Something kind of like trench coat thing going on. And then maybe a strap going across. And showing off a bit of neck, I think, something like that. And then I need to work on the face, so let's have a look. What do you think so far? Do you think it looks Jack Bowery? Not Jack Bauer. Jack Sparrow. Now, big eyes with lots of makeup on because he has quite makeup eyes. And a big smile because he's cheeky. I think that's quite a good face, actually. I quite like that. Let's draw the hands now. So he's going to be holding the rum in one hand. And he can be holding a sword, maybe. Witty Jack. Okay, so that's my rough pencil that has actually turned out to be quite pencily. So I'm going to jump straight onto my pen. I'm using a medium thickness biro, and I'm going to start off with the eyes. Going to give him a bit of a pointier chin, I think. And he's got that dangling thing on his head. Then I want to draw the... You guys can see okay? I'm going to zoom in a bit for you guys. So he's got his head bandana that's red. I could have drawn him with a 3-corner hat, and then that'll be his dreadlocky, scruffy kind of hair. I'm going to kind of draw it in tubes to make him look a bit, I think they're dreadlocks, or just very matted, kind of sea wizen hair. You know, if you ever go to the beach or you go swimming, your hair gets very, the salt does something to it, doesn't it? So that's the gist. So we want to show off his chest because he's kind of leaning back. I want his coat to come out. It's kind of trench coat. Shoulders. Big elaborated cuffs, maybe a under t-shirt of some kind. And then his hands, so this is a kind of saber with a kind of hand shield. I can't remember if this is how they actually had swords in the film. Witty Jack. Got a big belt buckle just to almost show off that kind of curved posture. I'm going to zoom out again because I realise I'm drawing off the screen. So this is the back of his bandana. making it look like it's flowing in the wind. So he's got 2 layers of clothes on. I'm just looking at my own hand to see how you would hold a bottle. So oh, that hand looks terrible. I should have figured that out a bit more, but never mind. That hand looks absolutely terrible. Ugh. I'll fix it later with my white pen. So we want to look at the folds in the clothes as well. We need to do this bit as well. And sometimes you end up drawing a hand wrong or something. So we kind of want to have the clothes folding and creasing a little bit, kind of in the direction of the clothes, and this will kind of blend in a bit when we get into the next part, I think. It's supposed to be cufflinks or something, I don't know. His arm here looks a little bit low. It looks okay. So now I'm going to gently rub out my pencil lines. And what it's going to do is highlight the areas that I've missed with the pen. It's going to make it look a bit cleaner. So what you do is you always hold the paper down so that you don't accidentally crease. If you do it without it and you rub very vigorously, you can sometimes crease the paper. You always sweep away those little burrs as well, because you don't want them to interfere with the inks. And I see I've missed an area here, which is easy to do. Okay, so, and then the rest of his chin. Okay, does that look like Captain Jack? I think with a bit of colour it will. So let's start off with a nice little bit of skin tone. So we're going to start off with the shadowed area first. And under the chin, under the nose. And then we're going to mix it with some pink. Ooh, that's too dark. We need a lighter pink. We need a very pale pink. We'll start off with a lighter pink here as well. And a think we'll blend that in a little bit. Give him a bit of a tan. Kind of want to be careful not to turn him into Will Turner. But yeah. Right, what do we need now? So we need, let's do the red for the bandana. Start off with the light red. Just double checking the comments. Okay, cool. And then we've got a darker red, so we're going to use this to show some of the folds. And then we want it for the darker bits of the one behind and the underside of this. So you can see the red on its own is quite strong, but okay, it's coming along nicely in my opinion. Right, so now we need some brown, so I want to kind of this is for the hair. I can't remember if he has black hair or mousy brown. We'll fill in that area with a darker shade in a moment. So I'm going to go over the top with another shade of brown. This one's a lot darker, so I'll definitely use that in there. And we're going to put a drop of that in the eyes as well. Okay. Now we're going to join with a blue coat, I think, just because it's going to be a darker royal blue, but I'm just going to do an undercoat in this light blue. Right, so we need a darker blue, I think. I don't want to go too dark straight away. I want to build it up. So this is quite a bit darker than I actually wanted. Also feels a bit smudgy, but not to worry. Because we can bring it back with a white pen later, so not to worry. So I'm going to add a smidge of kind of turquoisey green in the middle. Use the right end of the pen as well. Give it a kind of seaweedy green into it. I'm going to come back with a white pen later anyway. This is kind of to make it look a bit less blue and a bit more wizened by the sea, kind of sailor vibes, I guess. So he's going to have, just trying to think what colour underneath. So again, I kind of want to go for the brown for some of his clothes. Shoes kind of leather, that kind of thing. And his trousers are going to be a lighter shade of brown, I think, or a different shade. And then I think he's going to have a red, I don't think this is accurate to his actual attire, but I'm going to give him a red waistband as well. And then I'm going to give him a, what kind of shirt shall I give him? I think maybe like a light grey, kind of slightly bluish. Underfrock, something that was white once but kind of isn't clean because he's a dirty pirate. Adding a bit of blue over the top. There we go. And we want a bit of darker in the crevices, so a little bit here. And when we go over the top with grey, we can start playing about with the darks and the lights. So I'm going to grab a lightish grey, even on the skin, just add a little bit on the underside. A little bit here, a little bit under the chin. And also a little bit on the legs. There we go, starting to look quite good. Also want to do something around here for the golden sword. Sorry, not the golden sword, the steel sword. Kind of want a bit of a shine on it, but mix it in with the bits of lights and darks to make it look metallic. Got a dark grey in my hand, so that's looking quite cool. You also want, with the lighter grey, just to put a little bit in the eye. That'll do. And we want to do the bottle, so we're going to make it a green bottle. I don't know what the glass was like in the times, but most bottles were in green glass. And we'll have purple inside. And we're going to use some white pens just to look how many pens I've used here. It's crazy. That's all the colours I've been using. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit. It's quite a small drawing. I normally draw a bit bigger, so that's okay. Now I do have a gold pen. Whether it's going to play ball, I don't know, but hopefully it will. Just got to give it a bit of convincing. You can see it seeping down the sponge a little bit. Please work. Oh yeah, okay, we've got the gold coming down now. So we'll zoom back in again. Oh, hello, there we go. And give him gold bit on his thingy, his little face dangly thing. And we might put a bit of gold in the bottle just to give it a bit of a shine. And I might just give a few drops of gold on that leather thing going across his chest. So that looks quite good from above. From my angle it doesn't look quite as good, so and as that, I'm going to leave that part of it to dry for a bit. So I'm going to jump onto the white pen now. I made the skin too dark. Oh, okay. Well, what you can, if you've got a white pen like this is a white gel pen, or you can have an acrylic white pen like this. They're really good for bringing back your colours if they're too dark. Like I feel like the blue on mine is too dark. So don't worry too much because, well, if you don't have that pen, then I suggest you go to somewhere like The Works and you can get a pen like this, which is a white gel pen, or Tipex, or even some white paint can work. Sorry, I'm just putting my pens back, making a racket. Can be really useful for bringing colours back from being too dark, because it is very easy to go too dark. And it's very hard to get it right the first time. If you ever watched a painter, or they often mix the colours a lot to bring them back. So I'm thinking about where's the sunlight coming from, which direction, and I'm just using the white pen to bring it back. And if I don't do anything, then it will dry like that. If I rub my finger on it after a few seconds, it creates a lovely kind of gentle smudge or smear, which is actually can be quite useful for kind of breaking down the colours a bit. So you're not just looking at blocks of colour, you're adding texture and things like that. And I want to just add a tiny little fleck of white in the eye. I think that would make a lot of difference. And you can also go around the edge, areas where you've gone too close to the edge. Places like here, you can just bring it back in. So I'm going to use this to reiterate the folds in the cloth, and I'm going to smudge it quite soon to blur that in a little bit. And you can then go over the top of this with a bit more alcohol pen or whatever colour you're using, which will bring it back in. So the skin is slightly reflective as well. And I want this metal sword to look like it's metal, not just grey. And I'm smudging it quite soon when I'm doing the cloth, trying to put down quite a bit of white and then immediately smudge it. And I do end up with a white finger after this. So. And I'm smudging in the direction that I want the cloth to go. And then obviously metal surfaces have a big reflection line on it. And I do actually want to draw around these buckles. Doing it afterwards is actually a little bit easier. And I'm going to do a line of white for the smudge and then a dot for them. That should look pretty good. A little dot in there would be good. And I kind of want to add a bit of sheen over the top to make it look like the bottle is, that liquid is inside, if that makes sense. I'm adding a little bit to the face. I'm going to smudge it as well, just so it's not. Just want to add some texture to the clothes. Like, this isn't the best kind of clothes looking. It's a bit too blue for my liking, but it's cool. It definitely looks like Jack Sparrow, I think. I'm gonna jump back onto the pencil now, and I'm gonna press quite hard. And sometimes there's an instinct to want to add black, but black is kind of, not many things are pure black in drawings. So a grey is good because grey's on top of a colour, the original colour kind of shines through. So you can, a pencil as well, the lighter you press, the more it smudges. So and you get that kind of grainy effect when you draw over the top of alcohol marker ink. So his fingers don't look quite as bad now. Maybe they do, but never mind. No drawing is perfect. I'm gonna add a bit more white to those eyes. Witty Jack is looking good. And I imagine he'd be saying, "Where is the rum?" or something like that. I need to colour in the coat behind him. Okay, that looks better. And I can add a bit of pencil over his face just to make him look a bit more scruffy, a bit more dirty, like a pirate would be. In need of a good bath or shower or whatever. I can bring that close to look a bit darker. I'm using a 4B here, just over the top, just adds a nice little bit of something. I'm not going to draw the feet. That's my Jack Sparrow. Right, let's write his name. As neat as I can. Jack Sparrow. Does that look okay? Maybe make the S a bit bigger. Jack Sparrow. Jumping on my black pen here. Make a few areas a bit bolder. Emphasize a few areas that are of deep shadow. And you can spend hours doing this. You can really work those areas in if you wish. I did some others yesterday. Oh, cool. Well, if you guys ever want to share your artwork on Clayton Art Club, I'd love to see it. If you ever want to share it, get some feedback from the guys, everyone. I mean, everyone's very nice. Might give you some feedback, ways to improve, or just we'd love to see your art. Right, so that's my Jack Sparrow, and what's the time? I've got 15 minutes left, so that's actually taken 45 minutes to draw, or 40-ish minutes. That's not too bad. I'm quite happy with it. Do you guys have any other requests for things you'd like me to draw? I'll just double check back through the comments to see if I've missed any other requests. I can't see any. Just the Jack Sparrow request. Captain Bunderpants. We've already done him. We did him. Unless Captain Bunderpants is a different character. We've already done Captain Underpants. Blunder. Oh, Blunder. Oh, maybe there is a Captain Blunderpants. Is he like the evil version? I'm drawing a comic. Could you help me with backgrounds? Yeah, so backgrounds, that could be interesting. It really depends on what you want. We could do some work on kind of like perspectives and stuff. Would you like to, I could do a background for this guy if you'd rather, or would you rather I draw Captain Bunderpants? He looks exactly the same as Underpants, except with different hair, I think. What would you guys prefer? Bear in mind, I've only got a few minutes, so maybe I'll do one of those Bunderpants things next week. I'll do a background for this, maybe. So kind of when you're doing backgrounds, it's kind of important to have a little bit of reference. So okay, so what I'm going to do is, again, in pencil, I'm going to zoom in again, and we're going to do a bit of background. So we're going to draw the edge of the boat. So we're going to draw the wooden railings, I think. And then depending on what level your camera is, it kind of depends what kind of level your horizon would be. So I would probably put the horizon around mid-chest height, assuming that the camera is about chest height here. So I'm going to draw the sea level here. Okay, and then I'm going to, if we're looking in terms of composition wise, we're looking at this kind of space. So he's looking this way, so maybe we should have drawn there to be a bit more space on this side. So if we move this over, often you want your character looking into a space. So if we composition this like this, he is kind of central but kind of slightly to the side, and he's looking into the space, so we could have some kind of event or feature happening. Okay, and then we could have something, if you're doing a comic of some kind, so maybe a bit less here, maybe even cut it off here because I haven't drawn the legs. So this is the sea level, because I'm assuming he's at sea because he's a pirate. This is quite a basic one. So if it's horizon, we'd follow that line underneath. Maybe we'd draw an island of some kind. And another little island there. And then in the foreground we could have something else happening, maybe a little ship here, something like this for a background. And then we want to describe the sky as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to give the island a little bit of we're going to bring it down a bit so that it's not fully in the distance, because we want the island to look a little bit further forward, maybe a little island in the background here. And we want a bit of sea turbulence. And we want some kind of clouds. So depending on what we're going for, there's often a bit of streaky mist. But predominantly blue sky, I would say. So I'm just going to jump onto my black pen and I'm going to quite quickly draw and the good thing about drawing comics and things like this is often the words can come to you. So like you could have a speech bubble from here saying put the rum down, or I don't know, something like that. And draw very lightly here. We're going to draw the island. Draw a bit of the island looks a bit silly now. My mistake, but never mind. I should have drawn that in pencil. Doesn't matter. And then we're going to draw a little bit of the shadow. I'm just pressing quite lightly here. I don't want to use too much black pen for the sky. And I'm going to draw around my box. I should probably use a ruler, but no. Okay, and then we're going to fill this with colour and rubber first. So as you can see, because I didn't hold my paper down, I actually smudged the black ink as well, which is not ideal. So you can draw over the pencil if you prefer. Right, there we go. Bit of smudge here, that's from the ink. Fortunately, I can't rub that out. And then I'm gonna come back, add the C in again. So I'm gonna start off with the C first. Going for a very turquoisey sea. How are we doing for time? Oh, we've got 5 minutes left. This is going to be a bit rushed. I'm in a bit of a rush today, so you have to forgive me. Okay, so that's already starting to look a bit like the sea. I want an even lighter for the sky. See here, I've smudged the red already, which is not good. Never mind. I'm rushing, that's my mistake. I want the background to be slightly fuzzy and vague anyway, partly for depth perspective and also just for us to actually focus on the foreground. So we've got a little bit of island greenery, and then I'm going to jump onto a much lighter green. Blend those greens in. And the same on this one. Going to add some bright yellow for the beach. A bit too dark. Need a lighter yellow, I think. And then we want a kind of vivid colour for the, let's go for a brown for the base of the boat. And I think orange sails. Never mind, that's okay. Now we want to do the brown of these. And I kind of want them to be quite dark in contrast to the kind of brightness of the sea. And I am rushing here. You should spend a bit more time on your backgrounds. If you're looking for a background with more perspective, I think there's a few different ways you can do that. For a nice side on, this one works quite well. Just going to jump in the grey, give these clouds a bit of... See, I think that's too much. And add a little bit of wave action to the sea, and also to the woodwork. Shaky hands can sometimes be your friend in this situation. And then I'm going to jump onto the white. And I'm going to smudge that to blend in with the wood. Just use my finger. And I'm just going to scribble over the sea quite a lot. Those white horses, those kind of splashes in the sea. And I'm going to jump onto a slightly darker blue in the distance and around the island. And maybe a little bit neater. This could be the shadow of the boat. I haven't done the bottom of my drawing very neatly here. Then in terms of the sky, kind of, I don't know. Maybe get a very light grey blue. Just give the horizon a little bit of something. Maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't have. And then I would get the white, go over the top of that and smudge it. Do some scribbles on the island. Using it to just neaten things up. Get things looking cool. Top of the cloud's going to be lighter. Right, there's my Jack Sparrow. I don't like how this smudge has happened here. That's a bit annoying, but maybe I'll just use some white pen. Anyway, that's my Jack Bauer comic page, which I quite like. So it's 3 minutes over. I think that's not bad for, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes for a background. And this is just a simple side-on sea horizon. Actually, if you had houses and stuff, you'd pick a point, draw lines coming out, and have buildings here, like to these perspectives. But in terms of composition, I could have done him quite central like this. You know, had more drawing on this side and less on this side. But because he was looking this way, I decided to move him over to slightly left, looking right. So he's looking into the space. So like if this was a comic page, then the next scene might be something to do with this boat or this island, or it might be him getting into a boat, or it might be him leaning over the side talking to this person from a different angle. So in terms of telling a story, your background does a lot of work in explaining. So that's quite important. So if I was, for example, for this character, if I was drawing a background, he's looking directly at the person. So I would frame it either like this or maybe like this. Because his body's facing this way, then I would give more space on this side. So he's kind of looking into the space. Again, with the cat, if I framed it like that, this space would be redundant. Whereas if I do that, sorry about the shadow, in terms of framing, it's about open spaces. So for example, when I jump onto this one, Spider-Man, he's looking this way. So framing wise, if you were framing it, you would, instead of framing it like that, you'd frame it like this. So he's looking into the space, so the space doesn't look like a waste. Again, with the snake, the direction of the snake is looking in. And again, with the bird, the direction of your artwork kind of often defines the composition. So if you had another character here looking that way, it wouldn't make sense. Whereas if he's looking towards the bird, they're kind of looking into the center, so it's quite important in terms of composition. If Jack was fighting another character, the character would be on this side, looking this way, pointing this way. So I hope that's helpful. I'm going to call it a day. But yeah, I'm really happy with how it's turned out. I'm annoyed about this smudge. Maybe it just looks like a bit of rain or something. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to call it a day. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hopefully see you next week for more piratey adventures or something else. Okay, goodbye. Bye.